coupled with a decision of the Court of Appeal on the question of when a seat of a member of Parliament is vacant by reason of absenteeism, the following processes should be complied with. 1. The member must have been absent from a meeting for 15 sittings in that meeting without the permission of the Speaker in writing, based on the evidence from the votes and proceedings of Parliament. 2. The fact of the absence of the member without permission of the Speaker may be raised on the floor of Parliament by a member, and the matter referred to a committee of privileges for consideration and report to the House. 3. The members so referred shall be required to offer an explanation for the absence to the committee of privileges, which shall consider whether the explanation is reasonable. 4. The committee of privileges, after consideration, shall recommend to the House such action as the committee may consider appropriate.
So we'll share our Facebook on any of the platforms. Yema Akwaba KOFI Radio so any. Yema me Adwoa Safo make say ne constituency ho wokai say anamontu eba yema wo hwanka sase ano technically edin but BC for betwen so no babonten ebe wish womo well in her capacity as a member of Parliament man for Dome-Kwabenya. Ni nyina mu na say Parliament ruling on this matter no and a Speaker Alban Kingsford's-Mani Bagbin ni ruling quickly you be call Parliament on ya for feed ni bia wi a you be digest this issue ni ya say Diana Mo and Omai Ghana Mrashibidjafo etru no nenchemu anything at the same time and na jo mampani ene MP sa MPP mu e makoma akwa di wotwe 80 ehia ni ngane se finance minister yempam no anase yenkosoma ne ntena na konwa no eso o mampani ade se de ne se omunya abotre kakra nanka onwe IMF nhihye no ansana obeyi no awayi no se sa time no niema enkose de ese kwa ni nyina mu MPs no 80 ni daso gina so say anamo a womotu no eno an womotu yen rush quickly na yen call Parliament sisia me run commentaries as ekoso na afi issues ahodo a development quickly yen akwa ba KOFI Radio so any
each of the actors plays in this matter only if necessary at the conclusion of this matter. Suffice for this purpose to restrict myself to the role of the Committee of Privileges. The committee has a singular mandate in respect of these matters, and that is to establish that the member, the permission of the Speaker in writing, require into the reasonableness, I should say inquire, not require, inquire into the reasonableness or otherwise of the explanation offered by the affected member or members, and to report to the House or on a continuous basis for the declaration of Parliament. The Committee of Privileges is a committee of Parliament. 1. The recommendations of a report of committee shall be presented to the House in the form of a report. 2. At any time after the report has been presented to the House, a motion may be moved by the chairman of the committee for the acceptance of the report. Our orders specifically require that the recommendations of a committee must be subject to the consideration of the House, and that the plenary plays an important role in choosing to adopt or reject the recommendations. The rationale for this structure is that committees of Parliament are macrocosms and extensions of the House as a whole. They are handmaidens whose core constitutional function is to assist Parliament, in the language of Article 1031 of the Constitution, in, I quote, the effective discharge of its functions, unquote. There are, however, a few exceptions to this general rule, As noted by the Majority Leader, Articles 106(13), and that's clause 13, and 177 provide instances where the Committee of Parliament's work operates to automatically bind the House, and no consideration whatsoever is required by the plenary in these matters. May I add that it is also the case with the recommendations of the Committee of Members holding office of profit. In such instances, the Constitution specifically says so. Very clearly stated in the Constitution. Most parliamentary decisions are made by the House acting on the recommendations of one of its committees. It does not follow that all decisions in Parliament must be done that way. Where the Constitution itself specifies a particular process for deciding, then it is that process that must be followed. This is because general things do not derogate from special things. However, in contrast with these instances cited, there is nothing expressly stated or necessarily implied in Article 97(1)(c) to the effect that the conclusion of the work of the Committee of Privileges also concludes the matter, and no action may be taken by the House on the findings and recommendations of the committee. Furthermore, the instances cited are not referrals from the House to the Committee of the House. Article 177, for instance, indicates that the advances from the contingency fund may be authorized by the Committee for Finance once the committee is satisfied that there has arisen an urgent or unforeseen need for expenditure for which no other provision exists to meet the need. The plenary in this case is not seized with jurisdiction to make a reference or determination on the decision of the Committee for Finance. In fact, the Constitution says the committee in charge of financial matters. The distinction between this provision and Article 97(1)(c) is that in the case of the former, no reference is made by the House in any way to the Committee for Finance. The minister responsible for finance in making a request for an advance from the contingency fund is not required to come to the House, but can submit his request to the Committee for Finance. The House plays no role in the process. The Constitution mandates the Minister of Finance, after the authorization of the Committee of Finance, to as soon as possible present a supplementary estimate for the purpose of replacing the amount so advanced. That's what is stated in the Constitution. And that is very different from the position in Article 97(1)(c). On the contrary, in relation to the matter before us, the absenteeism of the 3 members is referred to the committee in accordance with Article 97(1)(c), after the allegation that the members were absent for 15 days without permission in writing by the Speaker. A committee of the House is then called upon to inquire into the allegations and report to the House for a decision. I find the position canvassed strongly by the Majority Leader as untenable, for the simple reason that where the framers of the Constitution intended that the committee be clothed with exclusive jurisdiction on a matter without reference to the House, it has expressly, as in the case of Article 106(13) and 177, indicated so within the text of the Constitution. To the extent that a similar express mandate is not conferred on the Privileges Committee in respect of matters arising under Article 97(1)(c), Parliament's procedure with respect to the committees must of necessity apply. To imply any mandate into Article 97(1)(c) is one I am not prepared to do. Pursuant to Article 110 of the Constitution, my understanding is that when the Constitution does not provide a procedure, Parliament may regulate the procedure within that space as long as it does not offend the Constitution. It is in accordance with this power that Parliament captured the details of Article 71C in Order 16.1, which is to the effect that once a member is alleged to be in breach of the provision, his conduct is referred to the Committee of Privileges for inquiry. For the purpose of reiterating my humble view, once a referral has been made, therefore, the report of the committee does not complete the inquiry into the matter. The report of the Committee of Privileges, just like any other committee, is subject to the consideration of the House by way of a motion. Again, I am inspired and convinced this position of the law by the provision of the Constitution, rules of procedure and practice of the United Kingdom, India, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. In conclusion, honorable members, as I have noted in this ruling, the decision as to whether or not to admit a motion is the exclusive preserve of the Speaker. In view of the foregoing, the House is well within its rights to receive and consider the report of the committee and make a determination arising out of the recommendations. In the circumstances, it is my ruling that the motion was rightfully admitted and the report of the committee is subject to the consideration of the House. It goes without saying that the preliminary objection of the majority leader to the admissibility of the motion for consideration of the report of the committee is hereby dismissed in limine. Honorable members, I did indicate that I will give my understanding at the end of the debate on this matter, and I'll give you copious referral notes on this issue. It's my humble view that even what the table office does in trying to compute the days that a member absents himself is not final. It's for the committee to investigate and establish the facts. Again, the fact that the Speaker or is alleged that the Speaker has not given permission in writing is also not final. evidence must be produced before the committee. And the last thing is for the committee. The fact that the committee says, oh, this reason is reasonable, this reason is not reasonable, it's not also final. It's for the House that will go through it, because the mandate given to an MP representation is so crucial that it cannot be left to the subjective view of any person or group of people, but the whole House. Please, honorable members, table office will accordingly place the motion, and this House will continue to deliberate and debate on it and take a final decision. I so rule. I recognize the majority leader. I see he's on his feet.
We are the complainer, all of us.
Speaker, thank you very much for your expressing what you indicated was going to be a ruling which you characterized as an informed ruling. Speaker, you have sent us on a very labyrinthine, tortuous and torturous journey. And clearly, I must state that I didn't know where you were taking this House. Mr. Speaker, by way of conclusion, you said the House should go through the recommendations of the committee in order to make a determination. I refer you to what you said earlier, that the House will not go through
Honorable Majority Leader, my ruling is not subject to debate. You can say you disagree with me.
Yes.
And you know what to do. Simple. You cannot go and be quoting my ruling and trying to state your position on that. That definitely is not allowed by our rules.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you have read your ruling, which I consider very...
Majority Leader.
Yes, Speaker, yes, you will not listen to me. You will not listen to me. I've had the patience to listen to you. You must also listen to me. Mr. Speaker, you have made a ruling which I totally disagree with. I totally disagree with. I think it doesn't sit with the Constitution, and we must be able to comment.
Honorable members, the majority leader is entitled to totally disagree with me. So allow him to say it, and then he knows what to do. So yes, go on.
Precisely. That's because I know what to do. And I'm expressing my discomfort with this unfortunate ruling that you have made. I totally disagree. I think it doesn't sit with the Constitution and with your own earlier statement that you made in this House relating to this same thing. Very inconsistent. To that extent, Mr. Speaker, I'm serving notice. We know what to do. We come with a substantive motion to challenge your ruling, which I find very obsequious. very obsequious and doesn't sit in this house. Thank you.
Honorable Majority Leader, Honorable Majority Leader, as I stated earlier on, you are totally entitled to disagree with me. But to describe my ruling as unfortunate is a choice of word that by our rules. Read Order 93. Read Order 93. The fact that you disagree with me does not mean that your disagreement is sacrosanct. I will never use the words unfortunate on your disagreement. I believe that that word offends against the Order 93, and I'll ask you to withdraw that word and apologize to me.
Mr. Speaker, is it the first time the word unfortunate has been used in this house? Or you want to reset the rules of this house? When I say that this statement is unfortunate, that is offensive. With the greatest respect, Mr. Speaker, I want you to indicate to me in the context what is offensive about saying that your ruling I find unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, on almost daily basis, this word has been used in this house. Or is it the case you want to reset the rules of this house? Mr. Speaker, I am not angelic. And if you tell me that in the context of usage, I find it maybe unparliamentary and I have to withdraw, I will. But I don't find it, and so I don't find it unparliamentary. But I'm in your hands. I want to listen further to you.
Majority Leader, thank you so much. You recall when you were Minority Leader, you were Majority Leader, and your deputy was Honorable Dominic Nitiwul. I was Minority Leader, and I used the word, I was Majority Leader, you were Minority Leader. I used the word, you don't understand, in trying to explain a matter, and your deputy objected to my choice of the word, you don't understand. That meant it was an insult to your intelligence. The Right Honorable Joe Ajahu, who was presiding, called on me to withdraw that apology, and I did. I'm sure you recollect that because you have a sharp memory.
The Speaker, words have meanings in the context of usage. That's why I'm urging you, in the context of usage, what is not parliamentary about me saying that your ruling I find unfortunate?
I only decided to engage with you and give you this latitude because you have been with me for a long time. And when I was leader in 2001, I think you were a deputy whip. And I went around the whole world with you, always leading you. I expected that after now that you have learned so much, you are entitled to always disagree and argue with me. But I'm still older than you. And you always remain my friend until doomsday. Whether you agree or disagree with me, whether you are fighting me or not, you will still remain my friend. With this, we move to item 4. Item 4. Correction of votes and proceedings and official reports. Honorable members, we'll look at the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 25th October 2022.
All right, that was for 80 Safin Wakan one ruling about our parliament see no emwaye obi besi something which is there pa speaker enchemu a wode aba echese committee reporter wode ba ye ma eninti ebetumi agina so aka se Adwoa Safo onye member of parliament no on a committee report no enya adwen. I stand to be corrected though listening from this side, but yanko parliament na yene yenua bema Prince Bwedi otonkra edema ABN yene nkonkwedi nkomo kakra ewo ho Prince memo akwaba
jiso brumira
ye hwede ekoso parliament sia yadwen mu ayen kesene ne kakra speaker ruling ne sa Adwoa Safo da so member of parliament ana
mira sabe penalty e won kire se ka say do da so ye member of parliament enkwesi se afei a clerk of parliament and a business committee 1 year sheye na won fa committee a privileges committee won hwehwe mu a won kwatra ase no won fa to hwehwe process ne wuni mu no other paper so na refi ha say that thing no if you have machine for din na no debate wo or findings no ho ansana or make determination say ni seat no vacant and vacant mirror.
It is a sia ye ka say de omanfo wo Dome-Kwabenya ehwehwe wo mo MP a no ene Adwoa Safo nsem kan ba ye declare seat no vacant by elections crash as ye boaboa ne ho ba no parliament stance say odaso ye member of parliament do ni omaimu
fancy pepe ecosystem fa process na committee report no then the room about other people so na afi chairman dema committee no akenkan e wo for ho next speaker ma ho kwan am obi a kire na dwen no speaker den final ruling no beba no oda so ye machine jani dema Dome-Kwabenya enye ono nko a machine jafo mi lu eka no ho yera akompre ko asen central na after so yera Harry Court oda so ayo aso central wo mi unu nra no eda so ekuta dibia no se machine jafo ekosise process no ba mira me no ka say abotre bom kakra bia ye was say mensa bonsu a raise objection say edi kwan say MPC no debate or report no who speaker abogu no wa first of the central official musisi and any ade ba ko wa ye pia ye try so pipie ama wonne ye ya bekasa ye hu ye all chere wa kase speaker we no dey about what the objection no unfortunate speaker share himself or chere sign or chere mu say e professor won chere mu dey tie ma ye offensive e was a chisa with your speaker and move on so on a choice of words and it's a choice of Abekasa. It's mirror say a casa idea about Shivika from your son on the say MP.
But you say committee report nearby, and I say Adwoa Safo Kwan and Antikeka, one more Canadian now, one more a safe. But as it stands now, say speaker, yen say, woman na reported by you know, to me and so moon to one. Yes, sir.
I what you say, report in no, and met that to one chairman at the committee no early report no na afi Emma ho kwan na MPs no and debate wo ho ansa na waka wasem na person na de wo ka say Adwoa kwan na nitikika no Adwoa de no ekoba say minority who we committee no so kire say e kwesi say wo benya no animu ne na akasa no enya de say obetimi a kire say yen gina konya na na mayenje e na majority who na wo so kire say ogwa ma no konya ni na say wo beyi ni ho ano wa amade a ene wo declare the seat no vacant. Sana na report na buy na you be kind money the mirror and sana na wom.
All right, honorable Chairman Sabon so to me MP. Utumu say na oni speaker nya adwen kra bufo na ano ya ye den. Wo munya ya na nka we free go na by elections aba na.
Sabe pe na wo hu no as I dom do no hu ni say wo nua ba no ne won want say last year answer no betimi approve budget no wo ma wo kwa hie mu kosi say won charter plane ko pa na ba ni ade nti say emra so won ti ni nye we adwuma ne dia ene ade say won ka to no to be for emisi on wanemu as I say numbers who is nya ewo 8 parliament yin papa ni ba won ma no e ma won ho ehwehwe won minority ni so hu ni say enye Adwoa Safo Kwan no so sacrifice no ene de Hurricane akompre kwa Japan so be pii committee ni kan say to operation no fa the doctor report ni doctor yellow operation ni ademra no won so ni ntu it is na dia ene won so won by election minority for no hu say on pass central e fan dey say economy na de Ghana koduo no won be ni ene won so hu ni say na ma government there vote difference ni dos nti ho de won so eno ni banta ekosofia mira.
All right, you better press conference no enim na ya said ye be kwa akosi enti repamu ye be sign about ho. Ye da CP Prince.
Mira kanya mra MPs no majority for ni na FIA bank.
Okay. Any e bin kasa ma, any e bin kasa.
Ye sha say betimi ne ba ku ngi bi etomi akasa. Mira the one can say we read and kasa every year.
O bi ninja. Na ye say wo mu nyina bo afu speaker na wo mu apia ba.
Bashane on bet I will lead echi am on leader actually with the intia
press conference now ba yasotire na yemra ho emefa na live yenti ensemo a wo ka no ebi eda CP all right enti enia Prince Bwadi and watonkra edema ebi na de esie safe no akan ho the breaking news and say Adwoa Safo eda so a member of parliament manfo a ewo Dome-Kwabenya enti mo hwa mo bisa say so what is the outcome no the breaking news and say Adwoa Safo is still a member of parliament ya kan so sakra mo messages are mo de abano ebi was say I'm watching live every okay let me see say I think say press conference no shasia enesanti yenkona fe yenti Prince yatonka
mira what Mr. Tonka you run up here
okay
thank
okay
I believe you all heard the ruling of the speaker on the referral that he made to the Privileges Committee in respect of the absence from Parliament amidst 15 sitting days on the part of 3 honorable members, the Honorable Ken Ohnidepo, the Honorable Ken Forte, the Honorable Adwoa Safo. You will recollect that on the day of the referral, the Speaker made an emphatic statement that after the referral, he requires the Committee on Privileges to submit their report, and he said, when check the hands up, that Parliament would not debate the report, but Parliament shall have to vote on the report. On that day, I disagreed with him that is not what the Constitution provides. Today, I'm saying that the report should be submitted to Parliament, and then Parliament will have to debate the report and then vote on it. The same thing, two different rulings from the Speaker. And both rulings are inconsistent with the Constitution. At the very outset, you remember when he made a referral, the majority chief got up to say that the Speaker has no business referring the conduct of the team to the Privileges Committee. And he said that it ought to have come as a petition that a member ought to have submitted to the House. And then that would occasion the Speaker to make the referral.
All right. Chiremua, Honorable Ose Chairman Sabonsu, Ede Banono. Now it looks like pressure kakra from Parliament with regards to Chiremua Womode but ruling none in Chiremua hold on it say enya aba ewie.
As I have voted in this ruling, the decision as to whether or not to admit a motion is the exclusive reserve of the Speaker. In view of the foregoing, the House is well within its rights.
When you're ruling a Speaker a day Emma earlier, I watch say Adwoa Safo is still Dome-Kwabenya MP. Adwoa Safo is still Dome-Kwabenya MP. And that is the breaking news.
It's my ruling that the motion was rightfully admitted and the report of the committee is subject to the consideration of the House. For consideration of the report of committee is hereby dismissed in limine.
And see, that is the ruling. The breaking news, Sarah Adwoa Safo still Dome-Kwabenya MP. Enti Parliament tana say obobo nsem no ho putupriya mu no de aba e was asemi e ho eno no hye so we ye KOFI radio and ye de sa breaking story e de ebrel developments are eba e we very soon ye be ma another development eno efa omampani ene na and members of Parliament share in ranajo with regards to finance minister development be ashase APA ewo eno and then GPRT for so say travel transport first no wo mo atutum but the nyan take effect wo mo atutum as say akwa gina so mo de 30% no 20% and no VVIP for no at the 20% can ho GPRTU at the 90%. Those ones ning and the details no ebebro enchekra and as we speak now the breaking news and it's a Sarah Adwoa Safo still the member of Parliament for Dome-Kwabenya. No matter what whoever says no Parliament ruling Abba Speaker Alban Kensford Sumani Bagbin Ninchemwa wade eba ye enono mwa omete dominant free mo Sarah Adwoa Safo still not Kwabenya MP but Dome-Kwabenya MP. Was say KOFI, I see your facial expression is like you don't understand but that is Ghana for you. Hey, how can you say anyway? Any free Kwame or Hene Sapon ho. Was it the parliamentary correspondent narration was very clear to me, even though I just joined. Okay, KOFI, anti-KOFI, that is the explanation. Prince Wedi Ede Emma Yeno. Was still watching live from Takrade. and are watching live from Kumasi we free Moses ho mo share YouTube Kofi Radio ho nyina nso ya chiamo the American kan sisi ya na your Facebook comments was watching live from Sampa Ofori Forsen Alexander and was Asemo Ghana MP's boy. All right, so that is the breaking news. Yabasia Boakwan will be with any other development ABC. Anything any say Wamodia ne click on the subscribe button our YouTube channel no so say ne click notification bell na kan because yen live no say yen share that air now so eba as and when see ya na quickly yeah, the Abrea KOFI Radio. So then we get time on KOFI TV to digest the issues, proper. And to share and so na click subscribe button. So here or YouTube KOFI Radio channel. So I say KOFI TV channel. So YouTube. I click on the subscribe button. Na click it. A domane on channel notification bell. No click it and also eka home for my. Now if you share on Facebook, remember say obe like a page and I say obe follow. Na yeba live when your notification and tem. See ya quickly. Na yede enchimuno de Abra. Was say Kofi, hope you are good. Me hoyepa. Was say I'm so disappointed in Adwoa Safo's case. She should be sacked and if we reach ho and said them assume and say hey speaker and parliament pa was it Ghana yet there Rihanna Idrisu messenger what they buy and on this note men famo NC mo share free London sasu nkansa se wo share free London ya chiao. All right. Tiemfa wonsi ya yebesi abo akwa mobile with further developments ABC na yedin abro.